Welcome. Welcome to my den. You know what's so exciting but yet so sad? Because when I think of what I've seen in my past time, and I look behind me and there's nothing actually moving, and it's the same stale thing day after day. I mean, how much can you listen to certain things that I repeat? Well, there is a story in certain things. The only reason I'm actually making this video is, first of all, to tell you what my next video is about. And the next one is I'm trying to untangle the 9 planets. I got my noise that's making noise. I want to untangle the planets and try to find out what really how they're hanging. Are they hanging two at a time, four at a time? Are they turning within each other? Because I drew a couple of designs. Okay, I'm going to show you the two designs. One of them is this. I just made a box, planet 1, planet 2, planet 3. All the blue lines, right? Although you see 9 planets, there's more than 9. You know why? Okay, because of the lines. What's on the other side of the line? What's on the other side of this line is the sun. Okay, this is only one part of the size. But I made a little mistake. You see the way it's sort of like, it sort of like goes in? Because you know what happens actually? They're supposed to be made this way. It's supposed to be made this way. There's more space and more room. Okay, and what this does compared to the other one is, you know, when you put a diamond, when you put a cigarette, you put one like this, and then the next one like this, and the next one like this, and the next one like this. When you take napkins and you turn the napkins, you turn them in a spiral. Well, they do that. But the only difference is one is bigger than the other than the other. Then when the napkin gets really small like this, it turns around and starts spinning, and it makes another one over here. And they become the pillars. What they end up looking like, hold on a second. Give me a second. I'm looking for the lighter in my hand. What they end up looking like. Did I draw anything? I have to explain this now. How can I explain this? Just give me a second, all right? I'll be with you. So what it would be like is like bowling pins, but the bowling pins are this way. This would be going up. It would look like an hourglass. It would go 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the floors and the roofs, and the floors and the roofs. And in between that, it's creating the columns. Because somehow all these planets, they work together. Do you want to see what else there is that most people won't notice? Is this, right here. At every corner that I've turned, okay, it creates a corner. So for every one of these squares, and there's only 9, and I should have 11, okay, for the inside and the outside. I need the extra rings, like the extra rings on Saturn, but I'm doing it from this. And anyways, it took up all my page. So I do this, and I get that. So I reconstruct it like this, like a lily pad corners. This is what locks everything together. All the corners lock everything together. That's how everything gets locked together. Okay, but what they create is one line, 2 lines, and there's a line down from the center. There's a line in the center this way, and there's a line this way at the end. So the max you get is 9 corners of 4 equals 36, creation of man, and 36 corners have 3 equaling to 108, 54 love, 54 love, oh, or the extra 30 hours we have in our year that are not counted but made up in the leap year is 108,000 seconds. Okay, so anyways, we finished that. Neptune, in this diagram I was doing, in this diagram here, okay, the balance of Uranus would be Pluto. Jupiter would be right here. Mars and Earth, they balance each other, and Mercury balances over here with Earth. This was Saturn. This is Earth. This is Venus. Now, if you see in the side here how a spider is made, look at these V's. In order for the legs to work together, they got to create these angles, these V's. So if these are V's, these are like 1s, and these are like 1s. So I decided to redraw the spider legs right here, just in this image. And right away, it looks like the letter M if you continue down. Okay, let's say it's a primate, okay, which creates 1v1, 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 4, 5, 6, 15, 4, 5, 6, 15, 4, 5, 6, 15, total of 45. Or just total it this way, 4 and 6 is 10 if you want. Or 5 plus 1 is 7. You'd have a total of 17, 17, 17, which would be area 51. Or just the similarities as 1 plus 5 plus 1 is 7, 7, 7. And that's what you get from the spider that's holding up all the planets in here. Don't know how it all works. I'm still working on that. What I'm also putting together is different ways that when you go from the balance beam center, because the center is nothing, right? Well, that's what they say. That's why I still can't see us living on Jupiter. I think the center, Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune have all to do with some sort of transmission of what's going on in the planet of Earth, as they call it. So these can be this way, they can be this way, and they can be this way. They swing back and forth, taking from this side to this side, from this side to this side, and this side to this side. It's one of the gimmicks and gadgets, one of the sprockets that move our Earth. Another thing I was working on, you know what? This is what I was thinking is funny. Now, if I had to have a meatball, wouldn't it be the best to have the big meatballs and have Jupiter? So then I was thinking, if I was going to have a hot dog, well, the best dog to have if you're going to have a hot dog is Pluto. Saturn would be the hamburger because of the rings. The bun is on top, the rings are in the middle. Okay, but where do you think the spiral, the fries would come from? The fries have to come from Mercury, because Mercury and Pluto connected is the one spirit of birth. And instead of it just being the fries, it's the cries of the little babies, the cries, the fries. Not only that, Mercury is a red planet, and it's the one spirit. So she's the hottest planet. She's on fire. Another thing I was working on is this board over here, where I start at 1 and I go up 8 at a time, or I go up 9 at a time, or I go up 7 at a time, all the way till I get closest to 100. Then I figure out how many pennies does it take. So this one added up to 91. Okay, I started here from 1, 10, I went up 9 at a time, I ended at 91. So to get 91 pennies, I need 3 quarters. That would be creation of 3, of 1 10 cents. Okay, now I have automatically 3 1, of 1 5 cents, 3 1 1, of 1 penny, of 3.111. One spirit, one angel, one man. That's basically how it works. Anyways, I do that with the number 1 all the way up to the number whatever. Okay, and then what I do is I do the combinations off the telephone, like 2, 5, 8 are in the center. However you can move the Rubik's Cube, that's how I have to do the numbers. And then I have to check these numbers out if I can compare them to each other, whether it ends up being from an odd number or an even number, where it fits maybe in roulette, how it may look in colors, like in the colors in pool compared to the colors of the racehorses. Although the racehorses do go up to 16, 17, and 18, they usually put them out in the same color. So for some reason, it's just odd, isn't it? They just put them all in the same color, just like that. They just stopped. They sometimes have 18, 20 horses, but most of them, they say, it's the field. Isn't it funny the way they say it? It's the field, the rest of them. Up to a certain number they count, and then it's the field. Pretty funny. Anyways, that is it for this seminar. I will be coming back to you. If there's any questions, do not hesitate. This is what it is all about. It is me, it is you, it is all. It is all of us. And you know what the funny thing is? I really don't have to go to work tomorrow. And I feel great about it. But I'll feel even greater if I do go to work tomorrow. But I know I can sleep tonight thinking I don't have to wake up. But how fantastic I will feel when I do wake up. And when I do go to work. And even if I stay a couple of hours, when I come home, I'll feel better than if I stood home at that hour, that day, at that time. So you know what? This whole world is about having to do something. What are you going to do? Sit and do nothing? You have to do something. So you have to delegate your life to do something, and at the same time sort of trying to incur yourself an income. In this day and age, it's a little bit more difficult, and I have pity on those. Well, I don't have pity, but I do have pity. But I really don't, but I do, because I understand. I see what's going on. But it is, but it is, but it is what it is. Anyways, read another article where There were these protesters that went out and they go to different places. They're paid people. They go on your side saying they're protesting, then they start with the police so then they can get more police and maybe the army next time against you. They want to build their armies. Like I said, stay away. If anybody wants to stay close, they'll be seen. Eventually, over time, they'll be weeded out. The further back you stay, okay, we see you. The more people will join. Do you know that? I would join a protest if it was a little bit further away. Let's give them room. The benefit of the doubt. Let them just see the numbers that show up. Let us take one step back. You know, they say sometimes it's good just to be at the firing line, on the line. On the line, there's no one on the line. The bullets are passing the line. There's no one on the line. So when you get on the line, you're the bullet that's passing the line. So you got to get to an area and try to figure out legally how you can set up these protests without having these police push their way on top of you. Stay away. Sort of make it like a new kind of way to protest. Of the years of the thousands, the twos of thousands of thousands. We are the men of thousands. We are the end. We are the end, my friends. We are the end, my friends. We are the formation of the end result. We are the ones that they were scared of what is going to feel like when we get to the days that we start to speak Armageddon. And we're it. We're it. What are we going to do if it's real bad? How are we going to prepare? Are they going to take us all away? Do you know what? If we're all prepared right now, they wouldn't be able to get close enough. We would almost have to reach a point to where we all move out of our houses and into the streets so we'd be closer together. I mean, it would be pretty funny. Listen to this. You have 100 million people that voted yes to the government. Now listen to this. Out of the 100 million people that would be against this, let's say 99 million would be against. When police see 99 million people against 1 million, what the fuck side are they going to take? Are they insane? How are they put? How is their judgment? How are these army personnel judgments? When you see one officer say shoot them all, while there's 900 million saying shoot none. Why would they listen? They're in more danger if they shoot us than if they don't shoot us. They should just turn around. You know what I think? I think the army men and the militia men should move to get together, okay, and plan a strategy. A strategy of what? Protection. And what you can do in the middle of the protection in case something happens to go wrong. You never want to be blamed. But we do have a pretty big Ron Paul side, you know. The Ron Pauls will come out. Do not be afraid. The Ron Pauls of liberty will come out. Not will come out. They have come out. When you fill up 16,000 people in a stadium to see Ron Paul, where no one is actually sitting and there's no seats left and they're waiting at the door. Do you want to go see Obama tell you a story? Do you want to hear a story? I can tell you a story. I can tell you a big story. You see, in my mind, there's no doubt that I do not know, because I do know, but I'm not quite sure what I do know, and I'm sure what I do know, but I can't actually say what I do know, because everybody would say it's just a hypothesis of what you think you know, and that's all it is. That's what I know. But coming up on my 7th year in 2 weeks, what I have accumulated and remembered, what I have put together and written down, what I have told everybody, of what I have tried my best to tell everybody. My best is never good enough. Don't worry. I'm always trying to do a little bit better, because there's a lot of work that has to go into this. But the least of a lot of what the work is for me, it's not as much as getting out the message, and that's what I'm doing. At the end, everybody knows we win, right? But the question is, there's levels of winning. How many sacrifices will there be? Will we starve for 6 months? You know, these are all the little things. I mean, Armageddon doesn't mean, but Armageddon, let me tell you one thing. Go back into the 1930s and say you're going to starve for 6 months, and go into the year 2000 and start starving the people for the next 6 months. To them, that's like an Armageddon, okay? No more T-bone steaks, no more night chicks on the side of the road. The only thing you're going to do is be making making distilled alcohol at home and getting stoned for 6 months and hoping that the army truck doesn't pick you up. Am I a militiaman? The only militia you'll see is, you see this mouth moving? For as fast as I can think and get this mouth moving on here and taking the sides of only for the good side, the good, and the liberty that is the freedom, the liberty of just the word in its own. L, it starts with L. Do you know what L is? L is she in French. I is you and you is I, because I am me. God said I am. B for beta. It's a small b and it's not a big B, because we're only talking about what's in between the word and we're not talking how the word is beginning. So beta only gets one bubble, and one bubble can count either for one creation or one egg. Since there's that stick next to it, it makes it look a whole lot different, like a B instead of a stick would be another L, which would make actually the word liberty to lil, because everything in this world is a lil and an ill. Everybody's sick. Everybody wants to go to the islands. Okay. I say it for the lily pad because a lot of times when I do designs, I end up coming up with the lily pad. And when you start black lining, you know what black lining is? It means anything on the top that's touching the line gets cut off. So all your letters start to turn into L's and I's. That's all they are. And U's. And V's and 1's and 6's. It just completely changes the whole thing. What was I talking about? U's and I's. Anyways, let's get back to Ron Paul. Maybe I'll be back. Oh yeah, with the letters liberty. Then you have the ER. In French would be ER, expression of air, which would be electronic resident, and in English they call it angel resident. Okay, or you're not going to call it archangel resident, but that would be an angel resident with spirit, and you'd really know it. So those are the ones who are flying around. And ER, and then T is the transmission of the angle, okay, in the Y that brings the 3 over to the center, over to 7, and connects with the one spirit, making creation into this world. That would be Mercury and Earth, Uranus, through Jupiter. Okay, now the question is, did it remain in any one of those planets? Because everything centers back to Jupiter. Everybody knows that, right? Everything goes back to Jupiter. Jupiter's a red. Jupiter's a red number. It's in the center. It's supposed to be a passage. Is that where man can sit? Or are we sitting on a dark planet, a negative planet? Saturn or Mars, 2 negative planets connected to Earth, Mercury, Uranus, Pluto. Don't forget about Pluto, eh? They didn't make him orange for nothing. 9 touches 7, touches 5, touches 13. Why? 5 and 13 in pool are orange. The 7 in horse racing is orange. And the 9 dog, Mickey Mouse dog, he's orange. Check out his ears. So anyways, what did we get to? We were talking about Ron Paul, right? So now I'm dragging it on. Don't worry about it. You can end it at any time. But now it's too late because something good is coming up. Oh, no, it's not. Nothing good's coming at all. Not one bit. Yeah, you know what? It all depends. It all depends the way you're thinking. It's coming good for you, or is it coming good for me? Okay, this is the last word I have to say. I think we're on Saturn. I think we need those 60 moons, the 60 moons on Saturn, okay, working with the 2 moons on Mars and the 1 moon on Earth. Connect to create 63 moons in which would make these 3 planets equal to Jupiter number of moons. Now, I'm not sure I'm sure where I'm going with this, but it's so complicated because I think Neptune has 31 moons, but they must be, if I'm right, I call them the moons of love, because reverse 31 or 3 and 1 together is 4. That's the angle angel. Okay, and what all that means is on this side, on this angle, okay, the 4 area connects to 8 and 2, which is to Venus and Neptune. So Neptune has to connect to Mars, and we have to have Mars connecting to Venus. Now, the 2 complications that I do have is the 30 days of September and the 31 days of August, because 2, 4, 6, 8 don't have more than 30 days, okay, except for 8 does, but September doesn't. One is odd, one is even, because the heaven had to be built before the birth in order for the birth to pass through the heaven when the birth was made and back into Jupiter. But where the fuck is it going next? I'm so confused. You know, and just like I said, we might just be inside Jupiter, might be cut open. But then again, in my other design that I'm starting now, do you like my stamp? Because the deck of cards, I'm starting to do a new thing on the deck of cards now. Oh, there's so many things to do, it never stops. Never stops. So I got the spider done, I got here it is. I'm thinking that Jupiter might be higher. Like, I don't know, I have to find out. Jupiter might be higher, okay, to the realm of God's world, okay, than every other planet, okay? But Jupiter is turned this way, okay? And out on this side is Neptune in the center. And out on this side, okay, is Venus. Those three of them, okay, set up, okay, in the space between them to hang these other 6 planets. If you understand what I'm saying? Almost the same thing. Don't you know me already? It's almost the same thing, okay, as Pinocchio, marionette, puppets, puppets on strings. Every story, every movie, every book, everything you heard, everything you saw, for whatever you spoke of and you understood. Everything is in God's creation. Otherwise, somewhere in our life, we wouldn't be talking in this formation and looking at this way, because it wouldn't be in the cassettes. It wouldn't be in the matrix. If it's not in the matrix, it can't be done. Only what's in the matrix can be done. And you know where all that comes from? Your mind. It's all in your head, my friends. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Except when you get these mental screwed up things, it's also all in your head, right? But it's so much more fun when there's comfort and caring around you. It's going to go away, don't worry, and you're like almost crying, but you're not. And now at this point, you can almost let go of that world. If what I'm talking is true, and you can break through, if you could break through, and if I had people around me and I went into that, maybe this is the time you can just let yourself drop and let yourself go deeper to where you don't want to go. Maybe we can break loose into that other world, because I woke up many times petrified, like I was absolutely nowhere. I wasn't on the left, but I wasn't on the right. Talking about left and right, you ever notice your keys, they're always towards one side. And there's a reason for things being always towards one side. Because even if fair is 50-50, sometimes, how can I say this? Fair may be 50-50. But it's also fair if you give them a little bit of space for their 50-50, and they'll give you a little space for their 50-50. So that's why in football, they're being fair. This is the division. This guy nice, I'll give you space, and I'll give your space. So the actual space right here, where is it? Where is it? Right here. Each one said, hi, space, how are you? See, those idiots are not there anymore. The ones with skin on their back, they move back. Now we can breathe. Now they can think. Okay, space. The other thing, did you understand that? Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you. Wow, I don't remember where I got it from, and I don't know where it is in my book. I'm going to say it, but you don't have to believe me. The 55 yards they use in Canadian football, 55-55. One of the reasons for it is because the passage is the 55-55 passage. It gets passed 4 times, makes 8 directions of 45 degrees and equals to 360 degrees. Pretty simple. Anybody can figure that out. But you know what the best point about that is? I was just telling you something. I forgot. Now I remember. Now I forgot again. Oh, what's the time? I'll have to back it up a little bit. Okay, let me think. Yes, okay, I remember. It's that staircase. When they talk about that staircase to heaven, I can almost figure that one out, okay? because everything's going to be equal. I don't care what it is in this world, okay? You got a planet, whether it's this big or this big, to me it's a planet, it's equal. Space is space, okay? The total accumulated space is easy to figure out. Whatever's in between that, screw it. Let's throw everything in, clean up the carpet, and we can go and figure out whatever you want in space. But everybody's trying to figure it out in the middle. We should just go back to the end and then go to the center and maybe to this side, maybe to that side. So we had Mercury and Venus. Okay, Mercury to Venus. I'm trying to figure out what I said. Oh my God. You had a Mars bar. Venus, Jupiter, Neptune. Oh my God. Listen to this. Venus. Think of a woman. Venus. Okay. Jupiter. Neptune. VJN. VJN. Just say VJN. Angel VJN. VAJN. A. All you have to do is put an A, VAJANA. Anyways, that's up to you. So I didn't figure out what the other thing was, except for these are like platforms, and they just build up. And it starts, it's really thin. There's a big opening. They look like hourglasses, 1, 2, 3, 4, to be able to hold up everything. I don't know how it works. I really don't, but I see it. It comes in and it leaves, you know. It comes in and it leaves. I see so many things. And another thing I didn't mention, did I mention this? If Neptune is the balance of Uranus, okay, and it's the 8th and 7th planet, and 7 is like September, and 8 is like October, then Pluto is holding and nursing the children of Uranus. God, when I say the 7th gate, that's also God's laboratory or something, or God's house is Uranus or something. Unless that's a terminology saying the spirit's up your ass. You know what I'm saying? Where's God's house? Well, on our bodies, he's up our ass. So that's why I feel good when the last part gets out, because when it's still in there, he's still bothering you. You know what I'm saying? He has a weird way of showing his love, doesn't he? Oh, shit. Here comes God. Oh, shit. Get out the toilet paper. Holy Christ. Well, pee in the toilet. Well, that's what it is. Don't you know? Ma, going to the bathroom. What are you going to make? It's a number 2. 2 is beta. Okay, that's our world. It's full of shit. And what are you going to make? I'm going to make a number 1. Well, 1 is the spirit. That's God's world. Well, that's yellow, just like in pool. Yellow, 1, and 9 stripe yellow. Wow, pretty cool. What if you do the 2? You get creation. So what are they going to create between them, 1 and 2? We get an angel. So what actually gets into the toilet between those two? Like, there's something deep down into this. I know it. I know it. Another thing to know is, I've never shown you the formations, but you see these 5s? You see the F over here on this one? See the F? So if you want to know where sometimes F comes from, because this is a formation. This, I have to do a whole page. Do you know what? It's just repeated and repeated and repeated. The other thing about this, if I actually put all the squares on top of each other, the center would look all like X's and little triangles. That's all it would look like. You wouldn't see anything else. It would look like all black. Anyways, Raphael, 7286 in the constellation, is that what you call it? Pegasus or Ron Paul? They should put Ron Paul on the moon. You know that? Someone should just go and take Ron Paul to the moon. You know that? He's a good guy. What a good guy. If I didn't mention his name at the end of this video, then I wouldn't have been a good guy. It's not how many votes I get, it's how many votes he gets. So if I mention his name and he gets a few more votes, fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. Ron Paul. Pull your weight, Ron Paul, the man with 2 first names.